and at some point, and I'm not in bad shape by any stretch of the I'm like you, I always think I'm doing worse than I am, but
Yeah.
because I know that anything I know is always around the corner. That's my paranoia. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
a tax bill or whatever the hell is always around the corner. So, but but for me, it was like, okay, that big breakthrough was like, all right, any business is going to have ups and downs and seasons, and if I just make sure that I'm always there to adapt and I don't quit, then this will never end. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like I see a lot of people, especially last few years, has been really tough in the economy. A lot of people just like, you know what, man, I'm just going to go get a job somewhere, and that's cool. That's people need employees and everything else, but
Right.
it's like they left when times got tough. I know this. Your success in life will be measured in direct proportion to your ability to withstand financial pain.
Mm-hmm. Man, me and a buddy of mine were talking about that. He has a pretty big firm, and I was like, the guy that can take the most punishment usually wins this game because, to your part, man, like,
Yep.
it's a money game. And at some point when the money dries up, you think you're the source of the money, but it came from somewhere else. And it's like if you can outlast it, or if you can get in front of it, or if you're like me, I get spanked first because I do stuff really fast. I don't ask a lot of questions. I'm like, I'm kind of a shiny object guy. So I'm like, oh shit, what's that? But I also don't like to lose. Probably like for you, like depending on like where you grew up and how you made it, like you saw the ups and downs. And if you watch a lot of people get spanked, you tend to be like, yeah, I'm not gonna go that way. You end up going the other way. So you're right, dude. Like my buddy said the same thing. I was like, dude, if you can withstand that level of pain and you don't stop, you're gonna make it. The problem is like at what end of the pain you're gonna be on. Are you gonna get spanked first and don't stop, or are you gonna get spanked last and stop too? Because at some point, like those are your choices, up or down. So that's cool that you said that, man. Thanks for sharing that because that's real. But I want to say this, man. I wrote
Well,
this down.
and
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt your thought.
and for me, part of that is, with having a felony, I don't have a whole lot of choices to go get a job. You know what I mean? I got
Yeah.
a GED and stuff, so it's like, dude, I either figure it out or wind up back in prison. And I'm not trying to go back there.
hmm Yeah. It's
A
funny.
little bit different motivation than maybe the average guy on the street has, though.
That's right. That's right. And I was telling me and my wife were talking about this because Sharon was a retired officer in the military. And she was a foster kid. We're a survivor family, so she was a foster kid. She got out of the military, but she did good. She stayed in that working environment. When I got out, to your point, I got in trouble. I was on probation. I had a felony charge, and I couldn't get a job. And then I got into real estate. And then the only other thing I did during real estate, because I had to have an actual job, was a buddy of mine's, which is one of my investor partners. He's going to be on the show too. He had a insurance company, so I was selling insurance, annuities, and stuff like that in Texas. And I kind of got into the sales game. That was the professional side, the only real professional job I've had. That was in like 97, 98. That was the last job I've had. And I got really good at that's how I learned, to your point, money. But, my licensing was kind of jacked up because of the probation stuff and they were kind of letting me in. But to your point, I didn't have another choice. And everyone's like, dude, like, what made you